Today on One, we visit a unique town in Central Florida that's still set in the 1940s.
But I didn't want it to be boring. I didn't want a boring hangar. I didn't want a boring front door.
Then we meet one couple who sees yoga as more than just a pose.
I can't predict what's going to happen. I could predict that it will be good.
And later, who says cats and dogs can't be friends?
Just their love and attachment to one another. Iggy shares everything with Ruth.
We've got all that and more coming up on today's show. This is One. Hi, I'm Amy Lo-Cicero and welcome to One, a show about the people and places that make Central Florida special. Later on in the show, we learn the art of positive thinking. But first, February is Black History Month, and we celebrate it by visiting a local landmark. The Wellsville Hotel was an economic and social hub of the African American community in Orlando during the 1920s and 30s. It was built by Dr. William Monroe Wells in 1926 as a place to provide lodging to African Americans who were visiting Central Florida. After 2 years of restoration, the former hotel has been turned into a museum full of artifacts and memorabilia celebrating local African American history.
This building is on the National Register of Historic Places because of the significant individuals who stayed here, people like Thurgood Marshall. And this was also a favorite place for musicians. Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Ray Charles was a regular. And this hotel is so important because in the days when everything was segregated, African Americans could not find lodging. Jackie Robinson, when he came in 1947, his team members stayed at the Angebilt, but he could not stay there. He stayed at the Wellsville. There was a book that was published by a man, Oliver Green, that would let them know where they could find hotels that would welcome African Americans. We have a copy of the Green Book from 1949, the only hotel in Orlando that would rent rooms and that welcomed African Americans was listed, and it is the Wellsville. And so over the years, we've been able to collect quite a bit of material. The murals that you see here of people who established a presence in Florida, they have been donated by people in the community who understand what it is that we're doing here and how important it is that we tell the story of this community, which is changing very rapidly. And people are bringing things to us saying, we think you might want this. My mother owned this piano, for example, and she passed away, and we want you to have it now. And we have now become recognized as a resource. And when people want information about what the community used to look like before the changes, before the Amway Center, for example, this is where they come to get that information. And we are hoping at some point to work with Orange County Schools so that fourth graders, when they study social studies, now they all go to St. Augustine to learn about history. Well, there's history right here in Orlando, right here in Orange County. And we'd like school students to be able to come here and to learn about this history. And we have people who have come from London and New Zealand and Brazil. So gradually we're beginning to get the word out that the Wellsville is here. And people are coming and they want to stop in and they want to take a tour so that they can then go back to their communities or their countries and then tell people, When you go to Florida, when you go to Orlando, in addition to the wonderful theme parks, there you can learn a lot about the history of the community, and one of the places you can learn about the history is the Wells Built Museum.
The museum, located in downtown Orlando, retains the original hotel facade and contains many authentic furnishings and decorations from the 1930s. Many people have heard of Danville, Ohio, or perhaps Danville, Kentucky, but are you aware that there is a Danville located here in Central Florida? And it's one of the more unique towns you'll find.
Welcome to Danville. I'm the mayor. We tried to build a downtown, and the theory is that we have a downtown Danville, 1940s looking downtown. It has shops around the side. It has a barber shop. It has a city hall. It has O'Shaw's Pub. My last name is Shaw, and I was able to name the pub after myself. I elected myself mayor. Actually, my wife elected me. She was the only other citizen in Danville, so she elected me. When we started building Danville, it had a concept of having a hangar because I do live on an airstrip. This is a private airstrip. I do fly. I have a 172 and a J3 Cub that I fly. The building is a hangar by itself, but I didn't want it to be boring. I didn't want a boring hangar. I didn't want a boring front door. So we worked with the manufacturer to build a door that doesn't look like a door. Then we built the inside of the hangar that was just bare walls, and we said that doesn't need to be boring either. So we started gathering things, and we gathered them from Craigslist and from auctions and from salvage yards. To be a business, it wouldn't be very profitable probably. But for what we do, it's just an absolute wonderful thing to do. We're meeting some of the most interesting people at the most fun time of their life. They're either having some sort of a party, a wedding anniversary or a birthday or a wedding. We like to do weddings, and we're best geared for weddings because we have all of the amenities for weddings. Inside the building, we call it the Danville Inn, and it has the parlor, and we have furniture that fits the decor, furniture that fits the period. And when we have weddings, it all comes together for the photo op and makes for wonderful photo ops for the brides. Upstairs we have the master suite, which is for the bride with a very unique bathroom, very unique closets. And we have a movie theater, a 1920s Art Deco movie theater that we just completed with a 80-inch 3D television that's just great fun, just great fun. The project is ongoing, and my wife asked me when I'm going to stop, and I don't know because we keep inventing things. As things happen, we find them and put them in. It's a hobby because I like to do it, and I enjoy meeting the people that are here for weddings. We've built a unique opportunity for people to have fun. It's a unique venue for people that are looking for out of the ordinary. It's not a hotel ballroom. It's not the VFW. It's something that is truly unique, that is memorable for their guests. It's always fun to hear when we have an event that the guests will leave and say, this is the best party they've ever been to.
Dan Shaw is constantly adding new features to Danville. Recently, he completed a phone booth with an old-style phone and rotary dial. Coming up on One, we meet a couple who sees yoga as a way of life.
You know, yoga is so much more than doing a posture, which ends up being what most people think yoga is.
But first, let's take a look at some nonprofit events and opportunities in our community. Do you know of an event coming to Central Florida that will benefit a charitable organization? Drop us a line at 1@wucftv.org and tell us about it. Yoga has become more and more popular over the last decade, and for some, it's not just a way to relax, but it's also a way of life. In this month's Central Florida hometown, we visit Lake Center Yoga in Longwood for a look at the yoga-centric lifestyle.
I got involved in yoga going to college, FTU at the time, which is now UCF. Never really heard about it growing up, but as soon as I heard about it, I want to check that out. And I just fell in love with it. It's my favorite class of college. It's more fun than the business classes. Lake Center Yoga opened in 1998, following up teaching in just a room I was renting in Winter Park for a few years. So it evolved to a place, and why ended up wanting to have a place of our own, which is actually myself and two other ladies started it, was just to have a place that was purely for yoga.
I was also in college when I began yoga, and I was studying in Paris, France. One of the classes actually though was a yoga class, like Sri. The classes at Lake Center Yoga, because they're based on a philosophical theme that's woven through the class, as well as alignment of the body, as well as a focus on the Yoga Sutras, which is the science of the yoga. Our students get a really well-rounded education, I would say, more than just going into like an exercise yoga class.
As I evolve and shift and change and teach from the experience of what I'm experiencing, from all the different teachers I've had and all the different styles I've practiced. I don't really, not even in a style right now. It's just a blending of all the styles that I've learned, and there is so much from each style that has worked for my own experience that, and it just continues.
We've had gatherings at the home in the past and continue to do so to educate the students. They want to know how we live, where we come from, what we do, what our environment is like, and they're very happy to see when they come here that it is a yogic lifestyle. Twice a year we have all of our students over, and we provide a feast, and in the fall it's the beginning of the garden. So they see, how to start the plants, and if Sri Aiken has extra plants, he'll give them to people to plant at home.
I never even heard of a vegetarian growing up. Went to the library and I looked up vegetarianism, and I saw this picture of this 80-year-old guy, and he looked like 50. I go, okay, all you gotta do is not eat meat? I go, I can do that, that's no problem. So it just became kind of part of the yogic lifestyle, connecting you to the harmony of the planet and the earth. And yoga is so much more than doing a posture, which ends up being what most people think yoga is. There's a certain quality of energy that's there, and by just staying attuned to the higher energy, the physical life will follow that. So it's not my responsibility as what will happen in the future, but just creating the present, aligning ourselves in a way that will unfold. I can't predict what's going to happen. I could predict that it will be good. That's all I can say.
The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word meaning union. Life can throw us many curveballs, but according to Hope Lamb, we can live through those by exercising a little positive thinking.
We all have stress in our life. We all have challenges. Maybe we have health issues. Maybe we have financial issues. Maybe we have relationship issues. We probably have all of that. But we can live through those things, can't we? I was introduced to the life of positive living, if you will, by working for a company when I was in my early 20s. I was in a very bad place. I had had a failed marriage. I had tumors, and I had had a major hysterectomy at the age of 22 years old. But I got that job for a company that said, if you're going to work for us, you're going to have to memorize this philosophy. You're not only going to have to be positive, you're really going to know how to take positive thinking and put it into your life and sell this insurance. So, you know, Think and Grow Rich became my life. If it weren't for Think and Grow Rich, we wouldn't be here today. My business wouldn't exist today, because that philosophy that I learned and used in the insurance industry also was the philosophy that I shared with my husband and that we used to start and grow our business. When the economic downturn, as it's called, happened, and I think that was like maybe in 2008, 2009, my husband and I really started focusing heavily on our philosophy of positive living. We started with a pickup truck and lived in a little trailer with no heat and no air. And now we have above 30 employees, and our sales are over $1 million. So we're very blessed and fortunate, but we're also very humble. And we also remember that it's the philosophy that is responsible for where we are today. The retreat center is a, if you build it, they will come. And it really is my heart. And I've spent years trying to gear it in the right direction, and in hopes that the day will come where men and women will have a place to go to spend a full day or a weekend, to go have a personal journey, to walk away relaxed, confident, and inspired. One of the easiest ways to stay positive is music. It's wonderful to be repeating positive verses instead of negative, you know, because when you repeat the negative, you're giving it power and you're giving it energy and you're sending it out there to create negative. But if you're repeating positive things, you're sending that out there, then it's going to create positive things in your life, because what we put out is what we get in return. We could teach people that it doesn't have to be this way, that you can find success regardless, that no one is in control of your life but you, and you're the master of your fate. What I want to do most with my life is to inspire people and to let them know that there's hope. Not just because my name is Hope, but because it's real. Because they have a choice. They don't have to be a victim. They can be a superstar in their own life. They can rewrite their story. Everyone has an opportunity to do that. Yesterday doesn't matter. It's a new day, a new opportunity, a new moment to rewrite your story and be the person that you can be.
The Positive Thinkers Club meets every third Monday of the month on East Avenue in Claremont. Coming up, we discover an unlikely pair.
It's a testimony of loyalty, commitment, and the faith that all things are possible.
But first, let's check out more upcoming nonprofit events from around the area. If you have a story idea, let us know by emailing us at one@wcftv.org. They may not be big and exotic, but they make two unlikely best friends. Idgie, a 2-year-old dachshund, and Ruth, a 7-month-old paraplegic cat, have an inseparable bond that has survived abandonment, rescue, and relocation to Hollywood Hounds in Lake Mary.
Idgie is the dachshund and Ruth is the cat, and they are named after the characters in the movie Fried Green Tomatoes. Idgie and Ruth were found in Geneva, abandoned at the end of someone's driveway, and animal control was called, and they came out and they separated them initially. After they had a short time apart, they put them back together. In that span that they had been apart, they were both crying until they got back together. Under observation, they realized that there was clearly something wrong with Ruth, and she had some immobility in the back legs and limited in the front. Idgie's quite protective over Ruth, and I think it's because she senses her disability and her vulnerability, and so she's ready to go to the mat for Ruth, no doubt about it. It's just heartwarming, you know. It's heartwarming because it's a testimony of loyalty, commitment, and the faith that all things are possible. I think people discredit the ability for animals to have an attachment and have emotion, and just how much they sense the vulnerabilities in the other animals around them. I think there's a lot to be learned from animals. Definitely the commitment, the loyalty, and really just the pure honesty of that relationship. They don't have an agenda. Certainly there's been other relationships between dogs and cats that have a strong bond. I think the uniqueness about this is that the cat has a disability, and just how in tuned Idgie is to Ruth's disabilities and what her limitations are really. And it's to be admired how protective she is over her. And just their love and attachment to one another. Idgie shares everything with Ruth. If she gets a toy, she'll bring it over to her. They're very playful together. We love having them here. The people just enjoy stopping by, petting them, walking Idgie on occasions, buying them treats, and seeing them interact with each other. Well, we're going to do what we can to possibly help Ruth with her immobility, if that's possible. But they'll live their life out here together. We're committed to them staying here and committed to making sure that they have a quality life and the care and the resources that they need to make sure that that happens.
Project PAWS is currently helping raise funds for Ruth's medical care, along with many other homeless animals. You can visit them online at facebook.com/ProjectPawsFL. That's all for this edition of One. I'm Amy Lou Cicero. Thanks for watching.